desk. Today we're going to be doing graphing parabolas using Davy. Davy is just a little acronym that helps you remember what it is that you have to do in order to properly graph a parabola. So the first thing you have to do, D stands for the direction. You have to look at the A, the number in front of the x squared, and decide whether the graph goes up or goes down. The parabola opens up or down. Then the next thing we do is A. A stands for axis of symmetry. So in order to get the axis of symmetry, you write the equation A equals negative b over 2a. Then b is just the number in front of the x term, the a is the number in front of the x squared term. And then after that you do the v. V stands for vertex. So to find the vertex, you take the number that you found in the previous part, the negative b over 2a, and you plug it into the equation to get the, that should say y value. To get the y value. This point is the vertex of the parabola. Then we plug for the y, that stands for the y-intercept. So we're going to plug 0 in for x and find the y value. This is the y-intercept. And then you just use the axis of symmetry and reflect it over the axis of symmetry. This way you have 3 points. And then you just draw your parabola. Remember that all parabolas have that U shape. So let's do an example to make this a little bit more concrete. So remember, the first thing we do is our D for direction. So if you look at the A value, the number in front of the x squared, here our A is negative 1. Therefore, our parabola is downward. So it opens down. So that's the easiest part. Now A for the axis of symmetry. So to find the axis of symmetry, it's just a vertical line. It's always going to be vertical for the types of parabolas that we're dealing with. Later on in pre-calc, maybe even calculus, you'll deal with more complicated parabolas, sideways parabolas. So here, for our axis of symmetry, we just do x equals negative b over 2a. Here, our b is 6, so our negative 6 over 2 times a. Our a is negative 1, so this is over negative 2. So x equals 3 is just our axis of symmetry. So x equals 3 is a vertical line. So we go to x equals 3, and we're just going to graph that vertical line. So now the next thing is v. V stands for the vertex. So the x value of your vertex is always what you found for the axis of symmetry. So it's going to be 3 something. To find out what that something is, you have to plug 3 into the function. So if you find f of 3, means just plug 3 in, you get negative 3 squared, which is negative 9, plus 6 times 3, which is 18, minus 1. So negative 9 plus 18 is 9, minus 1 is 8. So I have the point 3, 8. That's my vertex. So 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be the bottom or the top of my U. Because this parabola opens down, it will be the top of my U, or the maximum of my parabola. So the last thing we have to do is Y. Y stands for y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, you always just plug in 0 for x. So we're going to find f of 0. It's going to be negative 0 squared plus 6 times 0 minus 1 equals negative 1. So my y-intercept, which means where my parabola crosses the y-axis, is at negative 1. We also used to think about y-intercepts when we did linear equations, and it's the same thing. It's just where the graph crosses the y-axis. So here, now I have my axis of symmetry. So I know that if I have this point, this y-intercept, and it's 3 units away from my axis of symmetry, then I'm just going to go another 3 units and put that point on the other side. This gives you a pretty good idea of how your parabola will look. I know that it's opening downward, and I know that the top of the parabola is at this vertex. So there's the graphic. Wasn't very maybe. It's okay if you maybe should do it with light pencil the first time. So that's your parabola. Let's do one more example. So now here I have another parabola. It's the same idea. So the first thing I have to do is D. D stands for direction. So I'm looking at my A to figure out whether this parabola opens up or opens down. Because A is a positive number, this parabola opens up. Then I have A. A stands for my axis of symmetry. To find what my axis of symmetry is, all I ever have to do is take x equals negative b, which in this example would be 4, over 2a. 2 times 2 is 4. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 1. So remember, your axis of symmetry will be a vertical line, and here it's at x is 1. That's not actually part of your graph. That just kind of lets you know where your graph is split down the middle. Then the next thing is V. Your V stands for vertex. The only thing that you have to do to find your vertex is plug in the number that you got for your axis of symmetry into the equation. Because if this number 1, if x equals 1 is the axis of symmetry, then the top or the bottom of your U will always sit on that axis of symmetry. So I know that the x value is whatever I got in the previous section. Then all I have to do is plug it in. So I have to find f of 1. So I get 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 7. That's 2 minus 4 plus 7 is 5. So I have a point 1, 5 as my vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now these numbers are coming out nice and pretty. Numbers will not always be so nice. Sometimes you'll have fractions or decimals, and you'll get all mad at that, but that's the way it is. All right, the next one is the y-intercept. So our y-intercept, all you ever have to do to find the y-intercept is plug in 0 for the function. So here I get 2 times 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 7. Easy calculation. It's just 7. So I have the point 0, 7 is on my graph. Oh, wait, let's do our joke of the day. So our joke of the day today is, sorry, it's pulled up on my phone, I can't even remember it. Why didn't the skeleton cross the road? And he didn't have the guts to. Okay, so now I know that my y-intercept is 7. So I want to use my axis of symmetry to reflect that line, that point over the axis of symmetry, so that I get another point in order to more accurately graph my parabola. Sorry, I keep doing your videos during lunch now, so that's your lunch bell. You're all going to be coming here soon to do your review for your quiz, so hopefully it goes well. So now let's do our little graph. So I know that my parabola opens up, which makes sense because my 2 points are above my vertex, and then I'm just going to graph my parabola. And that's all you have to do. So we're going to do lots of practice graphing parabolas, but it's pretty easy, and I think that you guys will like it. And also our student of the day today is Brianna Ramos, because she finished all of her makeup work finally, and that's all in, and she's finished. All right, don't forget to answer the question.